Thank you, Madam Chairman. My amendment would prevent any funds appropriated by this bill from being provided to the government of Pakistan. It is reprehensible that our government is still willing to provide military assistance to a known terrorist-supporting state like Pakistan. Since 9/11, Pakistan has received over $28 billion from the United States. This should not continue. It is a farce to believe that our aid, sometimes deceptively labeled as reimbursements, is buying Pakistan's cooperation in hunting down terrorists. It was the Pakistani establishment that sheltered Osama bin Laden for years, and they continue to jail Dr. Afridi, the man, the heroic man, who helped the CIA locate bin Laden. Why would Pakistan do that if they were on our side? The abysmal human rights record of the Pakistani government is shameful. It is even worse because American money contributes to strengthening the security forces which kill and persecute minority groups who are denied their own right of self-determination. This is especially true of the Baluch and Sindhi, two large ethnic minority groups in Pakistan. Our tax dollars equip the Pakistani military, which brutally oppresses the aspirations of both of these people, and both of which have a long history separate from Pakistan. Pakistan is not an ally, and any assistance we send them only strengthens their ability to act against their own people, against us, and against Afghanistan as we withdraw our military. We cannot buy the friendship of a government whose strategic interests are not aligned with ours. They are allied with terrorists. The Pakistanis, thus, are allied with the terrorist elements and our own ever more dangerous adversary, Communist China. At a time of tight budgets, we should reserve our aid to true friends and allies. Furthermore, the Appropriations Committee didn't even put an exact dollar figure on this in this bill for the money that will be going to Pakistan. Instead, they've inserted a placeholder because we have not yet received a formal figure from the administration. What will happen when we get this formal figure? Well, will we simply serve as a rubber stamp for the administration and insert the number requested into a conference report? Well, I would hope not. It is our duty as elected members of the House of Representatives to determine how much and to whom tax dollars will be appropriated, and I implore my colleagues to send a message today that we will not send another dime to Pakistan as long as they continue to act belligerently toward the United States and to promote terrorism and repress their own people. The policy which has us funding Pakistan's military is wrong, and the fact that we can't even debate a precise dollar figure is absurd. It is insane for us to continue to borrow large sums of money from China in order to give to Pakistan, our enemy and a friend of terrorism. I ask my colleagues to support my amendment and to end this counterproductive use of our limited resources, which has continued for far too long. I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman reserves the balance of his time. For what purpose does the gentleman from New Jersey
I rise to claim time in opposition.
The gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
The gentleman is correct in one respect. The House does not have, nor does our bill, show any specific amount for Pakistan, but we anticipate the administration will come forward with a figure which may be similar to last year. But there are good reasons that we have invested in what's called the Coalition Support Fund. It allows the Secretary of Defense to reimburse any key cooperating nation for logistical and military support, including access, specialized training to personnel, procurement, provision of supplies and equipment provided by that nation in connection with the U.S. military operations in enduring freedom. And Pakistan is one of those nations. Receipts for reimbursements are submitted by Pakistan, and other cooperating nations, and are fully vetted by the Pentagon and follow strict criteria to meet the standard for reimbursement. All payments are made in arrears and notification to Congress as to what the money has been spent for. Specifically regarding Pakistan, the Coalition Support Fund remains a critical tool to enable Pakistan to effectively deal with the future challenges emerging from the U.S. drawdown. And there will be challenges, no matter what the troop number, and the President has set a troop number at approximately 9,500. It would be cost-effective. It is a cost-effective tool for the U.S. to remain engaged in the region. We can't turn our back on Pakistan and Afghanistan, particularly because Pakistan is a nuclear-capable nation. We need to keep a functioning relationship with Pakistan. That is essential. I would be pleased to yield to my ranking, Mr. Voskowski, for any comments that he might make, but this money is essential, and Pakistan has been an ally in getting after some of the worst terrorists in certain parts of Pakistan, and they need that assistance, and we should, I think, continue to give them to them. Pleased to yield to the gentleman.
I appreciate the gentleman yielding and would emphasize the chairman's very first point. And the reason there is not a discrete figure within the legislation is we continue to await that request in the Overseas Contingency Operation Fund from the administration. I would simply add a couple of comments to the points the chairman raised. One, if the funds were prohibited, I believe it would also affect our ability to withdraw from Afghanistan, since we traverse through Pakistan's ground lines of communications to transport our equipment back home. Also think that the withdrawal of U.S. assistance would likely polarize Pakistan and exacerbate significant pro- and anti-American rifts within their military and their government generally. And in addition to counterterrorism activity, the fact of Pakistan's nuclear weapons capability provides, I believe, an ample reason for the U.S. to continue to be positively engaged. I would not disagree with the gentleman that this is a very difficult relationship. There are significant problems with Pakistan, all the more reason to continue to be engaged. I also rise in opposition to the gentleman's amendment, and I appreciate the chairman yielding.
I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman from New Jersey reserves. The gentleman from California
time left, Madam Chairman?
has 1 minute remaining, and he is recognized.
When I first came to Congress, I was perhaps Pakistan's best friend in Congress. At that time, of course, we were in the middle of the Cold War, and the Pakistanis were on our side, and India was on the side of the Russians. Today, the Cold War is over, and Pakistan has become the friend of our enemies, whether they're radical terrorists or whether it's communist China. For us now to be borrowing money from China in order to give to Pakistan, because we are going into debt $500 billion a year. We need to make sure, and we have to borrow that money, much of which comes from China, then to pass that on to Pakistan, who is enemies, who is basically supporting our enemies. They still have Dr. Afridi, the man who helped us finger Osama bin Laden, and a hero who risked his life for us to bring justice to the man who slaughtered 3,000 Americans, for us to continue to give that government, who holds Dr. Afridi in a dungeon as we speak, is immoral and is stupid and is counterproductive. We should cut military assistance to Pakistan.
New Jersey is recognized.
We need to keep a relationship